Hi, I'm Liza, and I'm a few days post-separation from a narcissistic partner. And I want to talk a little bit about narcissism, and I will probably do a series on this topic just because I feel like it is a really important thing for people to have awareness of, especially the people who are actively in these relationships and actively being abused, because at the end of the day, uh, a narcissistic relationship is an abusive one. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is, and I'll do this over a series of a few videos, but I want to talk about some traits that I've observed, and in the years and years that I have been studying and trying to understand this disorder, I've realized that a lot of other people also observe these traits, and so I want to talk about a few different traits. The first one being paranoia. And the reason I want to talk about these traits really is so that if you don't know that you're in this type of relationship, you'll have the opportunity to kind of identify these things and say, yep, that's my lived experience. And then you can begin the process of understanding. And for me, that process took a really long time. Not so much the understanding, but after understanding what I was dealing with, still not being able to completely sever myself from the relationship. So no judgment if this takes you a long time, but you have to start somewhere. So hopefully these videos can help you with that process and getting started and understanding and identifying the things that are markers for narcissism, because a narcissist does not love you, cannot love you, will never treat you right, and you do need to get away from this relationship or it will be the end of you. So paranoia. Narcissists are paranoid. Why is that? Because they are, by their nature, deceitful. They have an inability to do right by you. They have an inability to consider you and care for you in a real way, in the type of way that is really required of a partnership. So they're constantly doing things that would offend you, would hurt your feelings. If you knew about them, would make you question everything. And while they do want to keep you in a state of insecurity, they have an intense fear and aversion to what happens when their mask slips, right? So I'm trying to look for the right words. So they want you to be uncomfortable, on edge, not sure of yourself, right? They want your self-worth and self-value to be low, but they want you confused about why that is. They don't want you to exactly pinpoint it, right? So they don't want you to be able to say, you're the cause of my insecurity, you're the cause of my pain, you're the cause of my hurt. They want you to think it's a you thing, right? You're too sensitive, you're crazy, you need medication. That's what I heard a lot, that I need medication because of my sensitivities, my anxiety, my depression, which was all being caused by being in this relationship that was so damaging to me emotionally and psychologically, right? But God forbid, I just get rid of the relationship and everything clears up. It must be that I have a problem, and that needs to be medicated, right, and diagnosed. So anyways, they're paranoid because they don't want you to know how bad they really are. So they're always watching you to see how much you're watching them. So if you know, have ever snuck and gone through your partner's phone because you don't trust what they're saying to you, or their behavior is showing you that they're being disloyal or hiding things from you, I bet you they caught you, right, going through their phone, because in the back of their mind, they know there's stuff in that phone, right? So they guard it with their lives. Oftentimes narcissists are very light sleepers, and if you even reach over there or even think about grabbing their phone while they're sleeping, they'll open one eye, right? I actually was so insecure in my relationship that a few times I planted a recorder in different places to try to hear conversations. I knew conversations were happening behind my back, and they were, right? Phone calls with other women, and you know, things that were said about me to family members that I had no clue, you know, would have been said about me, and things like that. So I've snuck a recorder in my partner's bag or in the car, or different places. I've done this a few times. I've always been caught, right? And what's interesting is they, you know, at least in my experience, my partner would not even tell me that he'd caught me, right? There was something about just like the satisfaction of just leaving me with no closure and on edge. He would never come to me and say, hey babe, I found a recorder in my bag, let's talk about this. He would just throw it away, right? And I would notice that I no longer had a recorder. So it was things like that, or a couple times I turned on his location on his phone, right, so that I knew where he was, and he, you know, turned it off within hours, which means he's going through the settings on his phone, constantly checking to see if I've changed anything. He would often accuse me of doing things that I hadn't done, right? Well, why is my phone acting this way today? Or it's taking a long time to load things, and he would ask me, you know, kind of in the suspicious way, do you know why my phone would be doing this, and things like that. And really what it all comes down to is the fact that he had things in his phone that he was hiding. And this isn't just about a phone, right? It's just kind of in general. They kind of sleep with one eye open. They go through life afraid of being found out, because underneath it all, they're rotten people, and they are doing things that are hurtful. They are doing things they don't want other people to know about, and so they're constantly trying to make sure that their tracks are covered and that they aren't discovered. So paranoia is a major red flag in a relationship. If you notice that your partner is always got, you know, always looking over their shoulder, always accusing you of trying to find them out, well, why would they care if there wasn't anything to find out? Okay, so keep that in mind. If your partner is paranoid when it comes to things that are happening in your relationship, there's probably a reason for it. All right, I'll catch you on the next one.